Hey everyone, this is Chirag Joshi. Welcome to episode 2 of the EQ show. We're sitting here on steps just to make it as cool as possible. Okay, Prasini, let's get into it. Oh, this is the meme. Nice. This is one of the most liked posts on our page. It's got I think around 150 plus likes. Okay, like without promoting. We've promoted a few, but this one is the most like fetching post we have. And honestly, it took me like 2 minutes to put this out. Like I was sitting at a friend's place and I hadn't put out something on that day, and I was like, I need to put out something on the meme side, and I put this out, and the next thing you know, it sort of blew up and really resonated with people. That's how it sort of works. So as you can see in this meme, it's a very classic and famous format, meme format. There's this guy. Okay, so basically the idea of this meme is that Elon Musk has been trying to enter India for a very long time. He wants to bring Tesla to India because we're one of the biggest and kind of one of the biggest automotive markets out there. So he naturally wants to bring his company here. But unfortunately, the Indian government has some issues with them sort of having their cars here because of the excise duty, which is almost like 100 to 200%, and that's too much for sort of Elon Musk to get his cars at that price in India. Like outside, the price of a Tesla is around $35,000, and and that's still at an affordable range if it comes to India. Some people can afford it, but when it comes to India, that price just goes either 1.5 times more or even 2 times more, and that's just insane, right? So no one's gonna pay that price. So I mean, like, yeah. So that's one of the things that we wanted to sort of portray with this meme, and apparently it resonated well. That's the thing I like about memes, right? They sort of spread the message without you having to talk a lot. So yeah, this is the post. Check it out if you haven't. What do we have next?
This one's like, the recent
Oh,
ones.
we put this out yesterday. Okay, cool. So in this post, as you can see, so this is like an animated GIF, not GIF. It's an animated post. That again, shout out to Puranjay. He's made it. So what we tried to show with this was, or how we, the idea was to showcase that recently the Bangalore Metropolitan Corporation sort of announced that they're going to be sort of having dedicated bus lanes in Bangalore city to sort of ease the traffic out and have more people hop onto public transportation, which is a good thought, but we're not necessarily sure if that's a good move for a city like Bangalore. This dedicated bus lane system is sort of prevalent everywhere else, like in Indore and Bhopal and a lot of the other cities out there in India, tier 2 cities mostly. But in a situation like Bangalore, it really doesn't make sense because we already have pretty small roads. And now imagine dividing that road into two halves to have a bus go through it in hope that people might use the bus, right? So that for us didn't sort of resonate well, and like we don't think that would work. And a lot of you have commented on the post with similar concerns, and appreciate that it resonates that way. So yeah, I mean, in this post we highlighted a simple thing where the cars are moving in one lane, and then there is this BBMP logo, BMTC logo that just pounds on the ground and impacts and parts the sea right into two and makes it even more congested just for one bus to go through. So yeah, that was the creative sort of we put out there, and that sort of matched quite closely with what we wanted to put out. Yeah, this is out there. And what do you think? Do you think putting out a dedicated bus lane in a situation like Bangalore or any metropolitan city for that matter? Because most metro cities already have enough crowd out there, and to sort of really change their current infrastructure to such a great extent is a big risk. Even the metro projects are causing so much trouble these days in commuting in Bangalore city. So I'm not sure of the dedicated bus lane.
I mean, what I think is they should prioritize fixing the ones that exist
The
already.
first thing,
Like
forget
just
forget
sharing.
about splitting the roads. Yeah, the first thing you should do.
Yeah.
This is the second one, right? So yeah, I mean, like, so this is again, it's a continuation of the conversation we're having. This meme, again, a meme is about the expectations versus reality of Indian roads. We've used the famous Joker meme that's going on the internet right now. So again, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, before we think of sort of doing something on these roads, we have to fix the roads themselves, because they don't exist practically. Every road there's some pothole or some work going on or some or the other issues going on, and believe it or not, that's where 95% of the road problems stem. Accidents, traffic, just any about any problem, dust, pollution, any problem that you can think of relating to road transportation is the is stems from the root issue of not having proper roads, even in metropolitan cities. I mean, we call ourselves whatever the top 5 economy in the country, and we don't have our roads in place. I mean, there are so many stretches in Bangalore where I thought, ki, okay, there's some accident there because it was such unusual heavy traffic. And when you get to the point of where the impact area, you see there are like two, three big potholes. That's the only thing
Yeah.
slowing the cars down. That's it. And that's insane, right? That's wasting so much time for everyone. So yeah, I mean, this post was again to resonate and to tell out the reality of Indian roads, and we've just become accustomed to such roads. The only hope we have is our road on that particular day isn't filled with any potholes or any misery, so that we can reach to our destination properly.
Yeah.
That's our expectations have fallen to such a low, because it's become normal for us to travel like that in India, right? Which is really sad. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. I think we have to get into a few questions. I know we didn't answer in the first episode because Pradanya had some questions, but not to worry. Here are some questions that we had, that we took from our Instagram. Uh, the first one. Okay, there are a couple of them. Which one? Uh, Okay, I'll take one from the Alpha Petrol Head. His question is, what is the general public reaction towards EV? Could that be improved? Okay, so the general reaction of people towards EV does not exist. Okay, because people aren't really thinking about it as much. People aren't really, aware of it as much. So they don't really have any opinion towards it. They're happy with their own scooters and cars and their old travel right now. Maybe they're in misery, but they just don't know the alternative. That's the reason we're doing this. That's the reason we're having this conversation and trying to have people talk about it and spread the message about it. So yeah, as a whole, the general reaction towards EVs for people does not really exist. And to answer the second part of that question is, could that be improved? I mean, that's too far ahead. The first thing we need to have is to tell people about that the alternative exists, that it surely is a practical reality, and that everyone should start thinking about it and start talking about it, right? So and I mean, a little that they perception that's floating around that, because present EVs weren't in place just 4 years back. They've been the first wave of EVs to hit our country was like 10 years back. Remember those yo bikes? I'm not sure if you've heard of yo bikes. Okay, so there's these really low powered electric scooters that sort of were released into the market, and that became the perception. They took 8 hours to charge. They went around only for 25 kmph. Their range was limited. They cost less, but they were also compromising on all of these factors. So that sort of became a perception of people, widespread, who haven't kept track of the space, but have just formed their opinions on that one instance. Okay, but now we've improved things to such a great extent, and hopefully that's the thing that can be improved. Which is the perception of EVs not being as serious mobility tools and mobility options for us to travel in our cities. It's already happening, and that's one thing that can be improved. So yeah, that's one question that we could answer. I don't know, do we have time for more? What is it? I think it's okay. I think we'll just take like one more, which is sort of uh, Relative. Okay, we can take, yeah, one. Junius De Silva asks, current EV scene in India, yay or nay? Well, I'd say it's a yay because there's a lot of investment flowing into the space, a lot of big names jumping into the space and thinking of it in from all different perspectives. A lot of stakeholders, so I mean, there are close to, I don't know, good 500, 600 startups that have popped up in the last 5 years in the automotive space, specifically EVs, right? So that's a great sign of what's happening and the sentiment that exists amongst those who actually are passionate about it. So I think the scene in India is a yay. The only nay part is the perception and mindset of most people who are the consumers, and hence that's why we're doing this segment. That's why we're trying to propagate the idea of what's happening in the EV space and what this whole sustainable mobility wave is all about. So yeah, that's to answer your question. Yeah, this is the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And just one sort of quick message to all of those out there. Any of the topics that we cover in this episode, or in any episode for that matter, and the creative aspect that we try to highlight, if there's anyone out there who is a creative genius, who is an illustrator, who is an artist, and thinks that, what, I could do a better job at it, which I'm sure you can, because our skills aren't really up there. So I'd request you to sort of, think about it, whichever topic resonates with you, and put out whatever an artistic post with your skills on your pages, and just tag us so that we know, and then we can put it on our channel as well. Because you guys creating more and more content and more and more being expressive about these topics will help propagate the idea. So do that, and if you have any more questions, hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or even in the YouTube comments. Thank you for being part of this community, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.